Hello everyone. So today let's learn about how to come up with a machine learning artificial intelligence project idea and how you determine the best project title for yourself, either for business or for your final year project. So first let's start by defining an idea. So what is an idea? So idea is the gap or the your problem. So the problem you want to solve, that is the idea. So what are some of the characteristics that the problem you want to solve must have? So the first thing you have to do is to identify a technology or a process that can be leveraged to solve a problem. So that is the idea. And then you identify a new way of doing something that can improve an existing process. So that is if there is a already existing work, so how do you improve it? So that's one of the ways of determining the project idea for yourself. So let's look at how do you determine the problem, like the what do you want to solve. We've discussed already there are ideas. There are a lot of ideas out there, but how do you determine the best idea for yourself? So this is how you'll determine the project idea. What do you need, or you yourself, what do you want, or what do you want to computerize to make things easy for yourself? Or what does your friends, or what do people tell you, the stories you are making, the books you are reading? So there are problems in there. So those are some of the ways you can use to determine the project idea. For example, when a friend comes and tells you that he is stressed up, so the being stressed up there is already a project idea. How can you help that person when you are not there physically, but he or she will have the phone on his hand? So how do you solve that using a computer? So that one already is a project idea. The data you have is already a project idea. The question is, how do you computerize it? So let's look at now machine learning. Of course, our project idea is based on machine learning. So how do you determine the machine learning idea? First, you have to check at the data availability. For example, what data do you have? Let's take an example of a problem. For example, lack of water. How can you solve? There is not enough water, or you want to determine areas where there is no water, so that you can solve that problem using a computer. So you will need some data about that. So that data is a very serious factor when it comes to machine learning project idea. So data can take any form. Data is any unprocessed fact, value, text, sound, or picture that is not being interpreted and analyzed. So data is the most important part of all data analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Without data, we can't train any model, and it means without data, you don't have you can't achieve your idea. So the very first thing you have to do is to determine the type of data you are going to use, and the targeted group that that will be interested. So this is just like a business idea. You have to know the group of people that you are targeting, and those are the group of people that will be using this your technology. So what are some of the resources you need? So you need people, obviously, the people that are affected, and you have to know the area where you are going to solve the problem. Like we have health, we have agriculture, we have climate, we have communication. So those are some of the areas you can identify, and your project idea can be based on those topics. So the prediction, that is training a model to tell you what will happen in the next future. Those are some of the project idea that you can dive into. For example, when you look at health, of course you can predict the outbreak of any disease. You can, so when we have the power to know what might happen in the next few years, or in the next at this particular time there will be no rains, like that, this crop species will do well at that particular time. So when you can do that, then you are solving a problem. So the factors that you must consider, and that is one of the ways you can use to determine your project title. So first, know your area, know the people you're targeting. If you're targeting the sick, then you have to focus on the disease. If you are in agriculture, let's say you have to focus on the plant species, and maybe the health of the plants you have to consider, and you need some data. For example, let's say you have the image data, so you have the healthy plant and the diseased one, you compare them, you train a computer, and computer now will be able to predict what might happen next. If you are in health, you have to tell how do you help people know that they are suffering from some disease, because in today's world most of the diseases, mostly the symptoms and the signs looks really similar, and a person might not be able to tell whether he's suffering from which one. So if you can come up with such a model that users will be able to know how they are affected and how they can solve that, then that is now a project idea in health. Let's talk about communication. When it comes to communication, let's talk about business. How do you reach your customers? How do you know that you are supposed to the things that you are supposed to sell, what you are supposed to buy at what time, and the number of customers you might expect at a particular period? So that is now an idea on communication. So for example, that one for communication, we can talk of lexical analysis. So in that area, you might not really need image data, but you might need text data or the speech information. You analyze that, and then you'll be able to tell, you know, their intentions, and you use that to know how you are supposed to run your business. So those are some of the ways. So what are some of the project ideas that you can come up with? So let's talk about automation. You want to automate something using a computer. You want to know that this, you want to know, for example, if you are in agriculture, you want to know that this in your farm, you want to know that the if you are having a tomato farm, you want to know at what period will your tomato be ready for market, or at what time do you need to water them or spray them, or when they are diseased. You should be aware. So at that point now you will need sensor. So that one now is under automation. So that is now how you determine your project idea. The second one is, for example, you want to, in recommendation, you want to recommend a person. For example, you know a person is suffering from a particular disease. What can you tell that person? So you might come up with a model that tells people what they are supposed to do. For example, when they are stressed up or when they are suffering from a particular disease, you can come up with a model that will recommend them some of the things that they can do. On prediction, you can come up with the models that are able to tell what might happen in future, and for customers, I've talked about that. So when you follow this, you'll not have problems determining your project title or coming up with an irrelevant title. So first, determine the problem. Second, data availability. Third, which group of people are you targeting? You see that? So That's how you determine a project idea. So when you consider those factors at the end, you'll have some creativity and you'll come up with what is required in today's world. So up to that point, in our next video now, we'll be training a model so that you learn about this. So make sure you turn on the notification button and you subscribe so that you'll be aware when we'll be coming up with the models and we are putting this in practice. So up to that point, have a nice day.